Hi. Hello.
Hello Anand, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
So welcome to Bollywood Bubble. And how are things with you? How are you? How have you been keeping up during this lockdown period or unlock phase?
Now the unlock phase has just started, so it's just that in these days lockdown. Generally, we were all doing the same stuff. I think everybody was taking care of their houses
Mhm.
and doing stuff. This stuff which we always thought that whenever we'll get time, we'll do this. So I think this was a very good time to do all that and catched up on some series which I could not, and read some books and more or less all those things, and waiting for unlock to happen.
Okay. And your upcoming film Mere Desh Ki Dharti is about to release. So please tell us about the film and how did it come to you? How did it end up in your kit?
Well, as actors, we are generally trying, and we have our contacts, and we go for auditions and everything. And because some of my work was earlier there, so in December, I think I got a call from their team, from Faraz's team, the director of ours, and they called me, and I met Faraz Bhai for the first time, and we met, and he told me the story, and he narrated. And it was a very good meeting because more than the story, I also stories definitely it has something which which we very rarely hear about, and the screenplay and the way it was going, and I really loved the energy of Faraz Bhai. I really loved the way how much he wanted to say this story. That was very important. He himself was very much invested in it, and he really felt about it. And in our after that, we also had some discussion, and I found that they were also very generous enough to understand my point of view, and they really understood the whole idea. And it was really I met them. It was the first narration, and I just said yes to them then and there.
Okay. And since you spoke about the narration, so was it a very detailed narration, as in dialogue by dialogue narration, or
No, it was not a draft narration. It was that he was telling me. It took him, I think, almost more than an hour, and in that he took me through the screenplay of the film, and he almost, when I read the script afterwards, he almost covered everything. So there was nothing which was new to me in terms of what he did not tell me, or what he must have told me something extra which was not there. So he almost covered everything. So what I myself also prefer that when a director, he himself has written it and he wants to direct it, I think it is I myself prefer that he narrates it in a way he sees it. Because what happens is that when you go through a page narration, draft narration, page by page, a lot of times, the way you read it, the punctuations and all those things, uh, everybody reads in their own style, and that sometimes what happens can be very misleading, because sometimes the narration goes bad and you say no to a good script, and sometimes they narrate it in such a superb manner that you say you say yes, and then you realize when you read it yourself that इसमें वो बात नहीं है, वो बता जिस तरह से रहा था वो बहुत अच्छा है. So when a director himself, he himself is a writer, and when he was telling me, I could see how he is seeing the movie, how he sees everything happening, and that actually gives you a lot of clarity that how he wants it to shape out. And in this whole big picture, where does he see me as a character, and the character he was offering me. So that was very very easy then to say yes to him.
Okay. And would you like to shed some light on your character, the part that you play in the film?
Yeah, this is the character of Sameer. Well, he started off by saying that these are two young engineers working in Mumbai, and coming to because this is predominantly a story of these two boys who are there. But coming to Sameer, what I liked about Sameer's character is that he's a very urban engineer boy, and what happens is that we generally in our lives think that our crises and our conflicts are the center of the universe, and we think that यही सब कुछ है और यही सारी दिक्कतें हैं. And what I liked about this character is that he is too much under pressure of the job, the boss, girlfriend, and to be good and to be the right person and to be righteous and everything needs to. He's a kind of a person who starts off as ticking every box to really make it big or to really make that deal happen. And a very hardworking, very earnest, and a very honest boy. But he is too much under the pressure of just making it right for everything, whether it's with his girlfriend or whether it's with his boss, and he's ready to put in those extra hours and really do that hard work. But it doesn't turn out to be the way he thinks. And then in the due course of the story, he realizes that more than his own conflict and more than his own crisis, there is a bigger crisis and a bigger conflict. And the moment you identify with a bigger cause, suddenly you feel that that load off your shoulders is off. Yeah, it goes off. And then you realize कि यार हम जिन चीजों पे परेशान हो रहे थे वो तो बहुत छोटी चीजें थी, बल्कि वो तो एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करती. और उस वक्त आपको ऐसा लगता है कि जो आपके जीवन में या whatever is happening in your career, and you feel that, oh, I'm losing on my career, I'm losing in my love life, and I'm losing everywhere. And this is a very good message also, that you feel that this is a very good point to maybe just say quit to everything and just lose your heart. But then not to lose your heart and to get a higher aim and go beyond that. And I think that is where the paradigm shift happens for Sameer. And during that whole process, uski jo choti conflicts the and the smaller conflicts which he had, wo automatically resolve ho jate hain, because he sees a larger picture. And I think that was the major graph of this character, which I really loved. And so yeah, this is Sameer, a very earnest and a very very hardworking and a very sincere boy. But he doesn't get what he deserves, so he loses his heart. But then he identifies with the bigger cause.
Okay. Yeah. And the film also talks about second chances in life. So would you like to share us some life-altering second chance that you encountered in your life and that sort of changed the course of how you look at things or your life in totality?
Well, I think that it is not only once. I think that if you look at it closely, many a times it happens to you. Which we also say that maybe today some grace has helped me. Just do that second chance. It was in my college in my college days. And it happens with during examinations or attendance, or to get that roll number. And I remember that my attendance was a little short, and I did not realize that. And I was on the verge of losing my roll number during my college days. And there was this one gentleman who was in the department of college, and he really helped me through it. And at that point of time, I thought that I'll have to repeat that here. And but he helped me out, and there was a second chance, and I really cherished it. Similarly, when I came to Mumbai, I started off as assistant director. Then I was missing a lot of theatre and acting. But then I got the chance to go to Europe, and I started doing theatre there. So that was another second chance there. So I think that there are lots of chances like these, and one should cherish these, because when you feel the need of it and when you feel the dearth of something, and then when you get it, I think that then you really cherish it, and then you are grateful for that. So there are lots of things. If I'll come to think of it, there will be many.
Okay. And if I'm not mistaken, you and your co-actor Divyendu, you are from the same college. Is that correct?
Yeah, we are from the same college, same batch. We were in Players, Kirodimal College. And I was Players admission. So I got my admission to KMC through theatre.
Okay.
And he was a general admission. And we met for the first time there in the college in the workshops. We opened the workshops for the general students. And he came in, and he was superb from the very beginning. And both of us, it is not just that we were together in the college and we were batchmates. It was also that we were best of buddies there.
Mm-hmm.
So all the college friends who knew us, when they got to know, they said that, okay, so you are now getting that, getting together again. And we did 2 plays together in our third year. He also directed one play with me, Divyendu. And one was there where I was the director and he was acting. Okay. So we had a long partnership. And so yeah, and both of us, I remember both of us were sitting in our college one day on the stairs, and we were discussing कि यार बॉम्बे जाएंगे, मुंबई जाएंगे, कुछ करेंगे यार, नहीं इसको आगे बढ़ाएंगे. And then these many years later, and this was not planned. I got to know that they have signed Divyendu for this, and then they came to me. But at that point of time, I did not speak to Divyendu. When everything was done and I liked the script and everything was on board, then I told Divyendu, and then of course both of us were very happy.
Yeah. Okay. So when you finally got to work on this film together, so was it the conversations between you two, were it more like reminiscing college days, or it was driven or focused more on the craft, or of how would you approach your characters and the chemistry, of course?
Well, I think both of us go way long back in time, and we have a lot of things to discuss. And it was not that we were completely off conversations during these, this time when he was working on his stuff and I was working on mine. We are generally in conversation, and we have a track of each other. So that ways we were never कि अरे अब हम 5 साल बाद मिले हैं directly या 10 साल बाद मिले, ऐसा नहीं था. But yes, when we started off, I think what helped us most was that because we had an earlier tuning with each other, it was हमको बहुत कम देर लगती थी वो चीज समझने में, कैरेक्टर की या कुछ भी करने की. And I think that most of the times there are silences between two actors, and expressions, and just reactions. And I think that those reactions just came very naturally, both of us in front of camera, because we had we knew each other, and we had that backup in our mind. So हम लोगों के लिए बहुत आसानी रहा, बहुत आसान था हम लोगों के लिए. And generally after that we seldom discuss characters and all. वो हमारा internal work होता है, और वो बहुत थोड़ा सा, जब आपकी किसी के साथ बहुत ट्यूनिंग होती है तो बहुत कम में आप कुछ बोलते हैं, वो सामने वाला कोड पकड़ लेता है. And I think that with Divyendu, I think I just need to, or he just needs to maybe even not say something, he just needs to react in a particular manner, and I catch it, and same with him. Yeah, so that was a help, that was a great help.
Okay. You have also done theaters, since you spoke that you went to Europe and then sort of got involved into the craft of theater and the acting. So what major difference do you see between theater and cinema when it comes to voice modulation? Because in theater you have to put your voice up a notch so that the audience at the last could also hear you. So in terms of voice modulation, what's the major difference between cinema and theater?
I think generally not only the voice but also the body and everything. In theater it has to be a little amplified, and because the whole body is there, and you cannot. And in cinema it is like, it is very, sometimes when it is a very close tight close up of yours, and then even a big movement of your eye is too much, and it can look as if that you are doing too much on camera. So I think I always use this example of broad strokes and very fine strokes. So in theater you need to have those broad strokes, and because they are right in front of you. And with cinema it is very detailed and a very minute work which you need to do. So I think that majorly the way you approach a character and the way you go for it is majorly same. The only thing is that the amplification and the way, and it's just a different form. So one needs to, like my teacher used to say that a good actor is good whether it's theater or cinema, or whether he's doing some folk style theater or whatever he's doing. And a bad actor will always, he will always mess. So I think that the basic thing is that you need to be true to yourself, and you need to find that truth within, and not come across as pretentious. That is the biggest fear, I think, which is there for any actor or any creative person, that you come across as a pretentious artist, and you are, whatever you are saying, it's not sounding true to the ear of the audience. So I think that is the only thing which we need to work. And then there are forms, and sometimes you also need to, even in cinema, there are very few times, but even in cinema, if there is if there is an out and out comedy where you have to go slapstick and you really need to go overboard, that too has its own beat, that too has its own style, and its own amplification. So you need to change those gears. And I think that these things happen with practice and with a lot of training. So if you train yourself and if you practice, you will get to know your own gears, that अच्छा इसमें भी थोड़ा सा ऊपर जाना है, इसमें थोड़ा नीचे करना है, क्या करना है. So I think, but the basic thing remains same across board in all the forms. Yeah.
Okay. And you started really early in terms of acting. You were a part of TIE, the NSD workshop, and then you attended NSD 6 months club also, and when you were in 12th standard. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Involvement into the craft of acting help you shape up as character in this part of life.
Can you just repeat the previous part of the question?
I mean, I was asking that how did early involvement with theater and acting eventually help you shape up your characters in this part of life?
I think in the very beginning, when you are in school and when you go up on stage in assemblies and you do those mono acts, and you mimic people, and people are appreciating you all around, you tend to feel, every kid tends to feel that yes, I am a good actor and I have arrived, and people like me in my school and everything, and you feel that everything is going for you, and you know it all. And it happens with every kid, I think, at the age of 13, 14, in that teenage, everybody feels ki I know it. But once you involve yourself in a formal setup or formal training setup where there are teachers and where there are people who have been doing theater for a long time and who handle students, when you go there, they actually give you a kind of a mirror in your hand. And then you actually try to see yourself. It is very difficult, because what happens is that in any other art form, whether supposedly if you play a piano is a different thing than your body. So it's an instrument which is right in front of you. So whatever you are playing, you can see, you can hear, you can adjust that. With acting, what happens is that you yourself are the instrument and you yourself are the player.
Yeah.
So it is very difficult to really know and to see yourself objectively. And I think that eye, to develop that eye and to develop that intelligence, that what am I doing to really develop that onlooker in you. I think that is the whole hard work, and that is the whole work which you get into when you get into a formal training space, whether it is NSD or Film Institute or any institute for that matter. Or maybe you are not going to any institute, you are just doing theater with some very good teacher and a very good director or a very good guru you have. So they basically try to tell you that just see what you are doing, just try and see what you are saying, try to hear yourself. And that actually that is the starting point of really improvement. And then they give you their feedback. And it is, with me it was, I was very lucky to get good teachers all along since my TIE days, till when I met my teachers from Poland, Mieczysław Janowski and Rena Merecka. Harsh teachers, very objective and very to the point, but they really taught me some great things. And not just about acting, but you also get to learn a lot about life and yourself. Yeah.
Okay. And you spoke about very interesting thing that for an actor, the instrument is his or her own body. So, like for an instrument, we take care of our instruments, in terms of moisture control. There are ways wherein we make sure that it stays all right. So, in the similar sense, for an actor, how do you keep yourself in tune psychologically? And physical aspect, you work out a lot and then keep yourself in shape. But in terms of psychology, how do you keep yourself in tune and of course progress with your art?
Well, I think that this is not only as far as keeping oneself in balance and keeping oneself in tune. I think this is something which everybody should do. It is not just the work of actors. And I think that um, we as society we expect very minimum thing from actors, and that कि अगर अपनी बॉडी का ख्याल रखना है या अपनी साइकोलॉजी का ख्याल रखना है तो ये सिर्फ एक्टर्स का काम है नहीं. ये तो this is, I think that everybody should do that. So if you're doing yoga, or if you're going to gym, and if you are listening to good music, if you're reading good books, and you are keeping yourself in good company, I think that is something which everybody should do. I think for actors, I think a little more is required, just than just to keep yourself in a good company, or just to do a workout. I think there are exercises which are other than gym exercises. So they are not just gym exercises. They are not just exercises. And in acting, in theater, we say exercises, not just physical exercises. There are mental exercises. And I think that if you are naturally inclined towards acting, this exercise, in a very small way, it starts in a very early age, because your observation skills. So what used to happen with me, or the other actor friends who I have met all along my way, I think that we observe and then we try to depict it in our own way. Some people just mimic it. Some people depict it. And this is in a very small way. It starts from a very early age, and then if you just go deep and deep in it, you will realize that it is nothing just but it is just a storytelling way. A person telling a story. Now you can tell that story verbally, and then you can use your instrument in your body and yourself as an actor to tell a story, or to tell a particular incident. So I think that this whole, and as you grow more and more, your interpretation of that particular incident, or your perspective on that particular character, your perspective on that particular story, and all these things then start mattering when you graduate from one phase to other phase. And when you see great actors, you see that it is not just about how he has said the line or how he has performed the scene. It is about how he has read it himself. What perspective he's bringing in this particular scene. So it might be a very cliche, done to death kind of a scene, but a good actor will find a new perspective in it, or he will bring a perspective which only he can see. So it is about just finding, in a screenplay book, it was written very nicely, that tell me that same story but in a different way. So we generally want to go through that same kind of emotions, and as an audience, we want to listen to majorly same kind of stories, but a little different. And that little different is always a perspective, or the interpretation of that particular thing. And I think that your training and all those things help you to enhance your perspective and to see things in different ways.
So what you spoke about, it falls concurrent to what Stanislavski or Lee Strasberg have defined in their methods, or in their school of acting. So is that your point of inspiration where you draw majorly from?
No, because we were in theater and we were doing plays, and we used to read a lot of Beckett plays, and and all those plays which fell into Stanislavski's domain. So in our college days, and when we were in plays, we used to try and go according to that method. But when I went to Europe, to Grotowski Institute, I went there, and Grotowski actually took Stanislavski's method and Meyerhold and Bechtengow and all these things to just one step ahead. And when I went there, surprisingly, those teachers of mine, they told me that you are an Indian actor. Why don't you go and learn something which is Indian, which is predominantly Indian, an Indian art form? It can be pottery, it can be Kalari, it can be Kathakali, or anything, but something which is very rooted to your country. And when I went there, and when I was I traveled a lot in those years, and I also went to US, and I went to some theater groups there. And I saw a lot of reverence for Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra in West. And I also met this person called Richard Schechner from TESS, which is a very big institute in New York. And he was very fascinated about, Bharat Muni and, the Rasa theory and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And I also went to Kerala during those days, and I got my little training in Natya Shastra and Kalaripayattu.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to Kavalam Panikar there in Kerala. And when I saw those people doing Sanskrit plays and Sanskrit theater and all those things,
mm-hmm.
all these things, whether it was Stanislavski or Meyerhold or Grotowski or anything,
mm-hmm.
all those things just funneled in, and I could see that in Natya Shastra, in Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra, which is very much our own, you will find everything. And across the board, whether it is any method or any teacher, whether it is Lee Strasberg or anybody, I think that the emphasis of every teacher and every exercise, and we as actors, especially I try every day, whatever we do, we just try and see that are we getting close to that truth? Whatever we are saying, whatever we are depicting, is it true or it is just for the effect? So whenever, as an actor, when you train yourself, you find that whenever you feel that ये जो मैंने किया, ये मैंने सिर्फ effect create करने के लिए किया, इसमें there is no true, no truth of mind involved in this. So you track back and you say कि ये मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ. अब उसको we used to say ये acting है, उसको हम acting बोलते हैं. कि अभी acting कर रहा है. So when I was in Europe and with my teachers, when she used to say that today you are acting, it was considered to be an insult. It was considered that I did bad on that stage. They used to say, I believe you or I don't believe you. So whenever you were good, they used to say that, yeah, today I believed you.
Mm-hmm.
So it is about that, are you believable enough or not? So I think जब आप वो फाइंड करना शुरू कर देते हैं अपने काम में, तो वहां से वो प्रोसेस शुरू होता है. अब आप मेयरहोल्ड के रास्ते से आ जाओ कि स्टैनिस्लावस्की के रास्ते से आ जाओ, so all these people are giving you tools and methods and exercises to actually reach this point only, where you are, whenever people see you or whenever you are performing, you are coming across as a believable, truthful person, not an act, not an effect, not somebody who's there to create some magic कि आंखें चुंदी आ जाएंगी लोगों की. So अगर आपका ट्रूथ है आपके पास, वो मैजिक भी ज्यादा बड़ा लगेगा, तो वो मैजिक भी ऐसा लगेगा कि ये ज्यादा है, ये लार्जर देन लाइफ है. सो वही है, तो इसी पे कोशिश करते हैं. बाकी हाँ, ये क्योंकि हम थे तो ड्यू कोर्स में हम इन सभी लोगों के सब बहुत ग्रेट टीचर्स हैं, सबकी किताबें पढ़ी हैं और इन सबसे बातचीत भी मतलब इनकी किताबों के थ्रू हुई है.
But as you said about performance being believable, it also depends largely on the setting of the story or the character that the universe that the character is set in. So if you are acting in a larger than life film or a commercial pot boiler, there the believability factor it pushes up a notch. So
but that is the thing which we covered. That is a different form. It is a beat. So अगर मैं पंचतंत्र की कहानी कह रहा हूँ आज, और वो मैं बिल्कुल ऐसे बोलूं कि एकदम एक प्रेमचंद की कहानी की तरह पंचतंत्र की कहानी पढ़ूंगा भी, even if I read these two stories, not acting, you will not feel good. A Panchtantra needs a certain kind of reading. Premchand needs a certain kind of reading. You need to shift your gears. So even if you are in a class as a student and you are reading something, because हमारे क्लास में बोला जाता था कि खड़े होकर आप रीडिंग करिए, पूरी क्लास को सुनाइए. Whatever, अगर आप शेर और बकरी की कहानी पढ़ रहे हैं तो आपको वो उस तरह से पढ़नी पड़ेगी. और अगर आप कोई बड़ी ऐसी पढ़ रहे हैं जिसके अंदर कोई बहुत ही भूगोल समझाया गया है किसी जगह का और ज्योग्राफी समझाई जा रही है किसी जगह की, या इमारतों के बारे में समझाया जा रहा है, तो वो बड़ा डॉक्यूमेंट्री स्टाइल, वो उसकी लिखाई ही वैसी होती है. So when you read something, when you are going through a text, that text in itself tells you what kind of a flavor it is. And what you need to do as an actor or director or any person who's creative, you need to find that sur, जिसको हम कहते हैं, इसका सुर. So if you are doing a slapstick comedy or out and out commercial film, mainstream beat वाली film अगर आप कर रहे हैं, तो वो सब कुछ beat पे work कर रहा है. So आपको वो beat पकड़नी, so this is a rhythm. So अगर आप उस rhythm पे हैं और आप कह रहे हैं नहीं मैं तो कोई और ही rhythm चलाऊंगा, तो आप वहां unbelievable लगेंगे. सो आपको आपकी कहानी, आपके फ्रेम, जो आपका फ्रेम है, उस फ्रेम के हिसाब से अपना सुर सेट करना है, एंड दैट इज द वर्क ऑफ एन एक्टर, कि चाहे वो कितना ही आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स हो, या वो कितना ही ज्यादा अतिशयोक्ति अलंकार या बहुत ही ज्यादा ओवर द टॉप हो, आपको उसे बिलीवेबल बनाना है. सो आपको वो फाइंड आउट करना है अपने अंदर कि इसका ट्रूथ मेरे लिए क्या है. सो दैट व्हेन आई डू दिस, और व्हेन आई शाउट, और व्हेन आई डू यू नो एनी थोड़ी सी हरकत करता हूँ, या मैं कोई अजीब सी कॉमेडी करता हूँ, वो अखरे नहीं किसी को, वो चुभे नहीं, वो स्मूथ जाए, वो उसको ऐसा लगे कि ऐसा ही है. सो दैट इज समथिंग, दैट इज वेयर you come as an actor. That is where you need to help your director and your storyteller. I will make it believable.
Okay.
So यही सारा काम है. जी.
Okay. And as an actor, do you think terms like hamming or underacting, these are not very right distinction to define an artist's work? Because if you look at other art forms like Kathakali, there the expressions are very pronounced. They are way higher up the notch. So do you think these terms, hamming or underacting, they are, I mean, they should not be used, or they are wrong distinctions?
I think majorly, I think that because people go towards it externally, and they pick it up from the top, just from the surface, and then you say कि अरे Kathakali में pronounced overact होता है. But in Kathakali also they have good actors and bad actors.
Yeah.
So even there, because I worked very closely, because my teacher Etta Manur Kannan is a very big actor of Kathakali in Kerala, and he also took me to performances of Kathakali, and I used to see, and he used to tell me, look at this actor, their exercises are same, their form is same. So if you are doing a dance form or a particular theater form, uska form और उसकी जो एक रचना होती है वो एक ही होती है. That is a standard thing. But what are classical theaters, whether it is any form, whether it is even a Kathak, uska form bada set hai. What you need to do is that over the period of time you practice it so much that it becomes a body memory. So those eyebrows, those eyes, those facial expressions, that become their body memory. Now what actor needs to do is that bring in his truth, that flame, that fire. मतलब ये metaphorical बातें हैं. I don't know, we are talking too deep in acting.
No, that's
but the point is कि pronounced हो या नीचे हो, over the top हो या बहुत subtle हो, I think कि वो आपके belief से और आपने truth find किया है उस space में या नहीं, उससे matter करता है. So अगर आप एल पचिनो को स्कारफेस में देखेंगे, एल पचिनो स्कारफेस में बहुत ज्यादा, मतलब that is a very over the top performance, but it is a believable performance. You like to watch a person like that. So when you are, maybe supposedly if you go out on the street, or you are traveling by train, or just commuting from one place to other, you see so many people. So there are also beggars, and there are very polished people who are very very calm and composed and very contained within themselves, and there are people who talk very loudly in flights, phone pe, हाँ भाई मैं वहाँ पहुँच जाऊँगा, ये कर लेना. Now they are not saying a lie to themselves. They are like this. So there is a character who talks very loudly in a flight. There is a character who's very poised. So all these people have their own truths. So you will find a very over the top kind of a person, and you will find a very poised, and sometimes you also find people कि झगड़ा भी हो गया, फसाद भी हो गया, फिर भी उनकी आवाज नीचे ही है, वो शांति से ही बात. तो इस तरह के सारे किरदार आपकी जिंदगी में आपको लाइफ में मिलते हैं. बात यह है कि वो लोग झूठ नहीं बोल रहे, लेकिन जब हम उनको डिपिक्ट करने पे आते हैं, तो या तो कोई इतना अच्छे से डिपिक्ट कर देता है कि चाहे वो ओवर द टॉप हो या बहुत डाउन अंडर हो, आपको देखने में अच्छा लगता है, और कोई नॉर्मल कैरेक्टर भी करता है और आपको वो देखने में अच्छा नहीं लगता. सो आई थिंक मोर देन सेइंग कि ऊपर क्या है नीचे क्या है, वही वाली बात है कि ये बिलीवेबल है या नहीं. अगर वो बिलीवेबल होगा तो वो ऊपर हो नीचे हो आपको अच्छा लगेगा. मतलब मुझे तो अच्छा लग जाता है एज एन ऑडियंस. मैं तो जब देखता हूँ तो मुझे अच्छा लगता है.
Okay. And taking it towards मेरे देश की धरती, so how was the experience of working with Carnival Motion Pictures, and what inputs as a producer come from that side?
Our very first meeting, when they called us for the meeting, we met Mr. Shrikant, who's the owner of Carnival, and to my surprise, I was so happy to meet him, because he was so clear and he was so passionate about this film. Generally, when we meet producers, or the person who's putting in the money. Those people are generally very, market oriented and business oriented, and they just see things in terms of iska kitna nikalta hai, uska kitna, how much viable this project is, how viable this actor is, and this and that. He was, in whatever short experience I've had, he was the first producer who was just talking about that this story means a lot to me, and he was talking like a director. Generally directors talk so passionately about their story, and that why he wants to make this story, and why he wants, and why he's so happy with both of us, me and Divyendu, doing those parts. And the way he chalked out his whole idea and his whole vision about the film and about his company, and he was very forthcoming and he was very comforting, because he gave us a lot of confidence in the very first meeting. And he said कि ये फिल्म बहुत अच्छी बननी चाहिए, उसके लिए अगर आपका भी कोई इनपुट है तो आप प्लीज देना. And he said something which was definitely to comfort us, but he said that if there is a day when in the morning you feel that emotion नहीं आ रहा है, आपसे नहीं हो रहा है, प्लीज कॉल मी, टेल मी, हम नहीं करेंगे शूट, लेकिन हम तभी करेंगे जब आप पूरी तरह से इसमें हो. When a producer talks to you like this, आपकी हिम्मत बहुत बढ़ जाती है. आपको ऐसा लगता है कि and वो हिम्मत भी बढ़ती है और जिम्मेदारी भी बढ़ जाती है. And then suddenly you start feeling responsible. So what Mr. Shrikant and what Carnival did was that they actually made us feel, a part and entitled of the movie. That this is our movie, this is your movie. So even if you want to cancel the shoot, you can cancel it. But if you're doing it, do it. So suddenly you start feeling responsible for that whole project. Yeah. And then you are geared up, and you are motivated, and you want to really do it, because not only your director but your producer also believes in the story and he wants to tell this story. So this was something which was very great about Carnival and Mr. Shrikant. And वो देख के हम खुश हो गए थे, मतलब हम लोग बहुत खुश हुए थे. हमको ऐसा लगा था यार, इतनी पैशन, इतनी क्लैरिटी और इतना पैशन towards cinema. So that actually really made things very easy for us then.
It had a great run. So what's your favorite compliment that you have got so far?
बहुत compliments तो आए पति पत्नी और वो के, but yeah, there were a lot of compliments. I'm not very good in telling my own compliments to people. I generally try and figure out कि किसी ने अगर कोई कमी निकाली थी तो वो क्या थी, तो मेरा ध्यान थोड़ा उसमें रहता है. मगर yeah, people liked it, and I think that people really loved that it was something very different in these days, because उसमें कुछ crime या मार काट नहीं थी, and it was a little, it was on a very fine balance of comedy and romance, which was a little old school romance. So, or because it was a very back foot wala character, he was not a very front foot player, and he was very chupchap and dabawa. But still, people really noticed those nuances and those small gestures of mine, which was very heartening. Yeah, so people really loved it, and people said कि आप अच्छे लग रहे थे रोमांस करते हुए, तो मुझे अच्छा लगा वो सुन के. So it was nice to hear. Yeah.
I would like to know, ऐसा कोई सवाल जो मुझसे पूछना रहेगा?
कुछ मिस हो गया शुरू में.
So I was saying, okay. So I was saying that it brings us to the end of our conversation. So ऐसा कोई सवाल जो मुझसे पूछना रह गया हो, या you would have loved to answer?
Well, ऐसा तो कुछ अभी मेरे दिमाग में तो नहीं आ रहा, बल्कि I thought that we have spoken extensively on acting and methods and all. Generally people don't, so I would like to compliment you, because you have asked some very very deep questions, I think. Some very very relevant questions about the art of acting. Generally people don't do such interviews, they don't ask such questions. So I don't know when people will see it how much interested they will be in knowing those nuances of acting and methodologies. But I would just like to say that this film, especially Mere Desh Ki Dharti, it's a very special film, and we never planned it, but the times in which now it is coming, it is a very relevant film. It is a relevant film for youth, for villages, for farmers. I think for everybody, because this is a film about hope, about second chances, as you have said, and not to lose your heart, and not to feel bogged down. and really find a new light and a new way out. And once you know, in our lives, we generally are always pushed against the wall. Everybody gets that phase in their lives. But the point is that you need to really rise up. You don't need to, you know, just fall in that pit. So this film is about rising. This film is about not falling into that pit. So I think that this film is very special. It was great working with Carnival. As I've already told you, that how passionate they themselves are about this film, and working with Faraz Bhai, because he was the writer and he was the director, and it was amazing to work with him and the people of Bhopal, actually, because where we were shooting, the local actors there and everybody who was involved there, the local team and everything, they were just great. And I have just had so much fun in Bhopal that I can't really, you know, just tell you everything. Because वो इतना कुछ था, you know, everybody was so good, and the actors there, the local actors, they were so good. They were so good. बहुत खुशी होती है जब आपको ना कोई एक बहुत अच्छा एक्टर आपके सामने आता है और वो जब परफॉर्म कर रहा होता है, आपका काम इतना आसान हो जाता है क्योंकि आपको ना वो सुर मिलता है. एंड आई थिंक दैट हैपेंड इन भोपाल विद, इवन इफ यू वुड पिक अ रैंडम पर्सन एंड से कि आप बस ये एक लाइन बोल दीजिए, इतनी अच्छे से और इतनी नफासत से वो लोग वो लाइनें बोल रहे थे, तो बड़ा मजा आया उनके साथ काम करके. Or of course, this film is special for me for so many reasons, and one reason is for sure there that I'm with Divyendu in this film, and both of us are sharing that space, acting space, after a long time. So yeah, ho gaya, and this is special. Yeah. So I think that whenever it comes, and I think that our song is also about to release, our first title song. So I think that people should see this film. People should just give it a chance, and they will find it upbeat and, you know, just feeling good about it. It's a good film with a good message. Yeah.
So on that note, thank you so much for talking to us, and I wish you all the best for Mere Desh Ki Dharti and for all your upcoming projects.
Thanks a lot. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.